Hello, speech class. Welcome back. What we're going to do is just take notes, half of the notes for chapter 1, and there'll be some homework exercises for you guys. Just make sure you guys put your name up over here. Depending on how you're doing this, I think some of you guys are just using the Google Doc and typing in your responses. That's totally fine, and so you can type in your notes in the Google Doc. Some of you guys prefer kind of old school way like me. I printed mine out because I just want mine to be handwritten so that I can remember it a little bit better, and that is okay too. Some of you guys don't have a printer right now, and it is totally fine to just copy whatever you see and write down all the notes and also your homework as well. Okay. I liked your guys' responses on the communication pieces, those 4 questions, and I believe that some of you guys had really good ideas. Like when I asked you guys what is communication, it is about sending and receiving messages so that it can be understood, and that's really pretty much what communication is. And we have different types, so let's go down to a typical day. Maybe on a communication is almost inescapable. On a typical day, we could probably be doing or be hearing some things, you know. We could be watching the news. Whenever we get back to school, or when we do go to school, maybe we listen to announcements on the intercom. So that's when they'll say, you know, seniors, right now is a good time to pay your, like that, or please be aware that the Monday wrestling schedule is at. So listening to announcements like that. You could probably even raise your hand because you have a question that you want to ask me or a different type of teacher. Don't forget, of course, you know, talking to friends, especially with our remote type of setting, exchanging or reading emails. Okay. Sending text messages, texts. Conversing with family. And what you will be doing after this notes lesson, turning in your typed or written responses. So you've typed and wrote your responses, and you're going to turn that in. Okay. So there are different ways, you know, communication. We're pretty much doing it all the time. So I'm just kind of seeing it from your guys' point of view. I mean, if you do watch the news either through YouTube or the TV, you know, when you come to school, you got to listen to the announcements. A lot of you guys raise your hand for questions. You definitely talk to your friends, emails, texts. So on a typical day, you could be doing all these things, and then after that, you do it on the next day. Okay, so let's go to have some definitions over here of these 5. And before I get into that, I want to mention this portion over here just so that you guys know that I'm getting information from a certain book. So the information you are receiving is based on this textbook called Essentials of Speech Communication. Let me see if I do have it right. I think it's right up here. Okay. And then by Franklin and Clark back in 2001. So we kind of have to update some things. And then actually, you know, this wasn't even in there, so I have to put that in for our, you know, 2020 type of world. Okay. And then the ISBN numbers over here if you guys want to look that up. Okay, definitions. Let's go write down a couple of the definitions here. Communication is sharing meaning. How? By transmitting messages. The most important part is the sharing meaning part. Especially when we're going to do both speaker and listener, we have some sort of shared meaning so that both parties, all parties, are able to understand what is going on, what is being shared. And how we're going to do that? By transmitting messages, okay? And more specifically, speech communication is sharing meaning, one more time, by transmitting verbal messages. Let's do two more. So communication can be both verbal and nonverbal. It can be used by transmitting messages through verbal or nonverbal symbols. Verbal symbols, or now could be words. Okay. Spoken or written. So, and we're doing both right now, or actually I'm doing both right now. So I'm saying this on this video as well as writing it out for you. So we've got both verbal symbols here. Right now, you just cannot see, at least see anyway. You can hear it, but you can't see my nonverbal symbols. And nonverbal symbols are your gestures. So you can't see me right now on this video. Facial expressions. So those are important as well. Body motions too. But the one that you can definitely tell on this video, for me, for you guys anyway, is my tone of voice. So tone of voice, that you can tell on the video a little bit. Okay. If we were in person, you can probably pick up all four. For right now in this video, maybe all you can get right now from me is my tone of voice. Okay. How can we define language? Well, language is a method of human communication, and notice the emphasis of human communication. So we're not talking about animals. I mean, we are animals, but we're not talking about dogs. We're not talking about other species or plants or anything. So it's really just us. Okay, so the method of human communication, okay, either spoken or written, consisting of structured words. Let me just zoom in because sometimes it could be really small. So method of human communication, either spoken and written, consisting of structured words, also known as grammar. Okay. So when we talk about language, and let's just say the English language because I'm speaking that right now, there's a certain structure, there's certain vocabulary words, and we have to put them in a certain order in order for me to communicate to you guys. And that is what language is. And so that's why it was important for your English teachers and your other teachers to teach you guys like subject, verb, and object, like those types of vocabulary. Then that way you don't put whatever words wherever you guys want. It has to be in a specific order. Okay. All right, you guys. We got more notes to be done, but I'll see you guys on the next video.